Viewers, Trump is ramping up pressure on Ukraine's war machine. Zelensky, who pocketed billions, is now being forced to pay up, and so he is panicking. Trump has reached out, but Zelensky's ego has got in the way. Then came the arm twisting, but this time Zelensky stayed silent. But now Trump is going for the jugular, threatening Ukraine's intel access and crippling its communication on internet, leaving Zelensky and his team scrambling like never before. On the eve of the third anniversary of the Russia-Ukraine war, now Ukraine is facing yet another crisis, not just on the battlefield but also in the corridors of power, specifically after the exit of Biden from the presidency. The United States is now reportedly threatening to cut Kiev's access to Starlink, Elon Musk's satellite internet system, unless Zelensky agrees to the controversial rare earth mineral deal. According to the sources cited by the Reuters, the US has pressed Ukraine to agree to a mineral deal that will grant Washington access to $500 billion worth of Ukraine's critical minerals as a repayment for wartime aid. Zelensky initially rejected the proposal, citing concern over the absence of security guarantees. "I did not allow the ministers to sign the agreement because it is not ready. In my opinion, it does not protect us," Zelensky stated at the press briefing in Munich on 15th of February. However, within a week, under the growing pressure from Washington and Kiev's European allies, the president significantly softened his stance. Following a meeting with the special envoy for Ukraine, Keith Kellogg, Zelensky signaled that the talks are progressing. Posting on social media, Ukrainian and US teams are working on a draft agreement. What matters most is getting the details right. While criticism from Washington was expected, Zelensky's handling of the situation also drawn rebuke from the European allies. The Polish president, Andrzej Duda, openly urged him to cooperate with the US, emphasizing that Ukraine's survival depends on the continuous American support. Meanwhile, White House National Security Advisor Mike Waltz also confirmed that the US frustration is growing with Ukraine, accusing Zelensky of making unacceptable remarks about Donald Trump. Waltz told the CPAC attendees that Zelensky is going to sign that deal, and you will see that in a very short term, and that is good for Ukraine. But now a major question arises, that why is Starlink so important for Ukraine? Well, if you see, Starlink has played a pivotal role in keeping Ukraine online, with Musk himself responding to a plea from Ukraine's Minister of Digital Transformation within hours. The technology has allowed Ukrainian forces to coordinate drone strike, maintain battlefield communication, and mitigate the Russian cyber warfare efforts. However, Musk's support has been inconsistent. Initially providing the Starlink access at a little no cost, he later sought US government funding. By the early 2023, SpaceX imposed restriction on Ukraine's use of technology for offensive military operation, which Zelensky was actively pushing the army to do so, including an instance where Musk refused to activate Starlink for a planned attack on Russia's Black Sea Fleet in Crimea. The Ukrainian officials also accused Russia of gaining unauthorized access to the Starlink terminals, though Musk has consistently dismissed these claims. So if you see, Starlink has played a pivotal role in giving Ukraine crucial intel info, which is not easily available because the source and the medium of information and communication with Russia and other adversaries are closed. But now, with US now holding Starlink access over Ukraine's head, the implication for Kiev's war efforts are now very dire. Losing the capability will only not disrupt the battlefield communication but also cripple the key defense operation, especially as Ukrainian troops rely heavily on Starlink-connected drones to target the Russian position. And for Zelensky, the rare earth mineral deal represents an impossible choice. Agreeing to Washington's terms can turn Ukraine into a little more than a resource colony for the US, with its vast natural wealth mortgaged under the wartime distress. Yet, refusing the deal can result in a loss of critical support, including the Starlink and other military aid, at a time when Ukraine's position on the battlefield is growing increasingly fragile. So if you watch this very closely, the coming days will likely determine not only whether Kiev's retain the access to Starlink but also the future trajectory of the Ukrainian war ambitions. One thing is very clear, Zelensky is running out of room to maneuver, and it appears nothing is working out in his favor now.